Thursday, May 12. Lot in Sodom. Genesis 18:16-19 says, Then the men set out from there, and they looked down toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to set them on their way. The Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I have chosen him, that he may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord, by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has promised him. Then the Lord said, Because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grave, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry that has come to me, and if not, I will know. How does Abraham's prophetic ministry affect his responsibility toward Lot? God's promise of a son to Abraham has just been reconfirmed, yet instead of enjoying the good news, he engages God in a passionate discussion about the fate of Lot in Sodom. Abraham not only is a prophet to whom God reveals his will, but he also is a prophet who intercedes on behalf of the wicked. The Hebrew phrase stood before the Lord, Genesis 18:22, is an idiom for praying. In fact, Abraham challenges God and bargains with him to save Sodom, where his nephew resides. Moving from 50 down to 10, God would have saved the people of Sodom if only 10 Sodomites had been righteous. Of course, when we read the story of what happened when the two angels came to Lot to warn him of what was coming, Genesis 19:1-10, we can see just how sick and evil the people had become. It truly was a wicked place, as were many of the nations around them, one reason why eventually they were driven from the land. Genesis 15:16. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 157 and 58 says, And now the last night of Sodom was approaching. Already the clouds of vengeance cast their shadows over the devoted city, but men perceived it not. While angels drew near on their mission of destruction, men were dreaming of prosperity and pleasure. The last day was like every other that had come and gone. Evening fell upon a scene of loveliness and security. A landscape of unrivaled beauty was bathed in the rays of the declining sun. The coolness of eventide had called forth the inhabitants of the city, and the pleasure-seeking throngs were passing to and fro, intent upon the enjoyment of the hour. In the end, God saved only Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters, Genesis 19:15, almost half the minimum of 10. The sons-in-law who did not take Lot's warning seriously remained in the city, Genesis 19:14. The beautiful country was then destroyed. The Hebrew verb hafak, overthrew, occurs several times in this passage, Genesis 19:21, 25, and 29, and characterizes the destruction of Sodom, Deuteronomy 29:23, Amos 4:11. The idea is that the country has been reversed, just as the flood reversed the original creation, Genesis 6:7. The destruction of Sodom is a reversal of the Garden of Eden, Genesis 13:10. In the destruction of Sodom, we are given a precursor of end-time destruction as well. See Jude 7. From the book The Great Controversy, pages 543 to 545, it says, "In mercy to the world, God blotted out its wicked inhabitants in Noah's time. In mercy, he destroyed the corrupt dwellers in Sodom. Through the deceptive power of Satan, the workers of iniquity obtain sympathy and admiration, and are thus constantly leading others to rebellion. It was so in Cain's and in Noah's day, and in the time of Abraham and Lot. It is so in our time. It is in mercy to the universe that God will finally destroy the rejectors of his grace. Since it is impossible for God, consistently with his justice and mercy, to save the sinner in his sins, he deprives him of the existence which his transgressions have forfeited, and of which he has proved himself unworthy. Says an inspired writer, "Yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be." And another declares, "They shall be as though they had not been." Psalms 37:10, Obadiah 16. Covered with infamy, they sink into hopeless, eternal oblivion.